Welcome everybody. It's Saturday night, 6 p.m. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to Ben's Brick Designs, where we're going to tackle a microfighter today that is a fan creation. It is an Assertor-class Star Dreadnought, and my cat's going to be bothering me a little bit, and I apologize for that, but maybe I'll pick him up and everybody can take a look. Right off the bat, I'm going to let everybody know that it's really windy here, and I may lose power. But if you hear stuff banging around, it's the wind we got going on. There's a major storm blew through here today, so welcome. What's up, Mevitz Bricks? So I'd like to thank everybody who kind of made me feel welcome on the. I joined a couple Discord channels, or one main one, the Brick Builders channel. On Discord, and everybody on that group has been really great. Mevitz is a fellow Texan, San Antonio. So welcome to the stream, and I've been trying to talk him into coming to BrickFiesta this coming summer. So we'll see if he shows up for that. But again, everybody on that Discord channel has been really great. They've been really nice to me and encouraging me to keep doing weird stuff with my little microfighters. And I also joined the Eckhart's Ladder Discord. There's a Lego channel in that server, and I've been talking to those people a lot, and they've been encouraging me to do a bunch of weird builds for uglies, some microfighter uglies. Yeah, that storm blew through here. It's mostly gone, but it was kind of weird. It blew through here kind of really, really quickly, and it's just blown up on the middle of the country right now in the Midwest. So I hope everybody, if you're in the Midwest, be safe. If you hear the tornado sirens, make sure to get to cover. So I don't want to spend too much time doing preamble stuff, because last week we went like a half hour talking about stuff. And which link is that, Mevitz? To the Eckhart's Ladder Discord? I can post it in the, if that's what you're talking about, I can post it in the doobly-doo later, the comments. I think if you just go to Eckhart's Ladder's YouTube channel, there's a link to his Discord. There are a bunch of, they're still Star Wars fans, so it's a little weird, and you can't promote, just like most places, you can't self-promote, so it's just a lot of talking, but I have been able to show the stuff that I've been building. So let me grab that. Maybe I can just... So anyway, the design we're going to work today, I'll talk about that real quick. It's by a designer called Fractalsponge, and if you're any kind of Star Wars lore ship fan, you'll have seen it. He's built a bunch of, or he's designed a bunch of ships within. So this is it. I can put this. Let's see if this will work. I can put it in the chat. I'm not going to be in this chat necessarily the whole time. I've got it up over here too, so I can kind of keep an eye on it. So Fractalsponge is a 3D render artist that has been doing Star Wars stuff, and I don't know how long. I'm kind of new to his stuff, but it's beautiful. The rendering is just exquisite, and he's gone back and done some some Victory Star Destroyers, some new stuff that's his own work. This looks really familiar. That may be Battlestar Galactica, but I'm not sure. So anyway, you get the idea. That's a hover tank. That's a great ship. I think that's from the Legends era. That's another ship that I just added to my list. I forget what it's called. It's some sort of dreadnought. So there's, that looks like a Nebulon Ranger sort of adaptation. I'm going to have to ask him about that. So anyway, he does a lot of great work. I mean, a lot of these ships are fantastic. So the one that we're going to be focusing on today, because somebody in the other Discord requested it, is an Assertor-class Star Frigate, which apparently is well known enough that it has got kind of a fan following on like Wikipedia and whatnot. So that's basically it. It's going to be, you know, a big gray wedge. So I might just, you know, kind of take, this might be pretty basic, be able to take some of the stuff that I've done from previous Star Destroyer type things and just kind of adapt to it. I'm not going to be able to get the level of turbo lasers on here, but I do like this engine block in the back. It kind of almost triggers my tryptophobia. A lot of little holes back there. But it's got this really nice arrowhead design, and it's a real nice spine along there. So there's great places to just kind of jam a figure in there, and we'll see how it goes. So that's the ship we're going to be working on. I'm just going to leave this up here. What else are we going to talk about? Oh, new communities, new builds. So these are the new builds, and I'm going to flip over to OBS real quick and do a full camera so you can see. So this is, and I don't know why this isn't big yet. Sorry. I thought this was, oh, full camera. Here we go. So this is one of the new ones that I built, and I apologize for not, I'm going to try something here. I don't have a piece of paper with me, but I apologize for not doing this live with anybody, but I get excited on trying to do these builds as soon as the parts get in. Let me see if we can do this. So this is, just trying to make the focus a little better. This is the patrol craft. This is a Imperial patrol craft. Just trying to make the focus a little better. I don't know if that actually helps. This is an experiment. So this is something that we've seen in Rebels, and I believe maybe some Clone Wars too. So this was a really fun one to put together. It is a little fragile. Not gonna lie, the front end's pretty tight. This is only being held on by one stud. That's only being held on by one stud. These ingots on the top are only being held on by one stud on the hinges. The wings are kind of being held in place by one stud in the back. So it's semi-swooshable, but I really liked that. I was really excited to get that one built. This is another one. I wasn't as excited, but it's still one of my designs, so I really like the way it turned out. This is Bosk and his ship, the Houndstooth. This is another ship that I don't know where it's been seen other than I think like X-Wing miniatures or something like that. It may have been in some of the comics, but I haven't seen it in any video games, or I haven't seen it in like Rebels or Clone Wars, you know, anything where he may have appeared in any capacity. The only reason I don't like this one as much is he sits kind of high in this. It's a little big, for one thing, for a microfighter, but he sits a little high in it. If I were to redo it, and I might lower him down into the fuselage a little bit. But I like the way the back end looks. This is technically supposed to break off and be its own ship. Sort of like a landing craft kind of thing, but I didn't do that. But I think the look of it is kind of good. This next one is not my design. I'm going to go ahead and say it right off the bat, but it's super cool. It's a Genevex class fighter. It is Ventress's fighter from the Clone Wars, and I found this online when I was first doing the. Oh, you know what I didn't do? Let me get back to, I didn't start any music. What is wrong with me? So I'm just going to do, let's do that. I forget what one that I've done before. Nah, doesn't matter. I'll tell you what, why don't we just do some, if I can type, we're going to do some Lukash, because that's what I like, and I've been listening to it a little bit today, so I kind of have a hankering for it. So the Genevex class fighter is one that I found, and I'll tell the story while we're getting this loaded. It's when I started doing Microfighters, I was a little late to the party buying them originally, and it had been a couple years before I could really get into them. And I know this isn't going to be, you guys aren't going to be able to hear this right off the bat. So we're going to go in here. Now you should be able to hear it. Let's check on the OBS. Right. And if that gets too loud, let me know. So anyway, this is it's a little loud for me, in fact. So let's turn that down a bit. Volume. So anyway, let's get back to this guy. The ship is it's technically a speeder, but it and I don't remember the show well enough to know that if it's gone into space or not. But I remember it flying pretty close to the ground. The capes on the back is a really nice touch. They're being held in there by some pins. Or by some 1x1 O clips, and then some studs to kind of, clip them in with those slopes. So it's a really nice design. In the show, these two things collapse back like that, and so it's very aerodynamic, and then it kind of opens up. The only issue that I had with this one, I built it based off photographs. The original designer, I contacted them, and they didn't have it together anymore, so it was really kind of trial and error to get it to look right. And I don't think that's why it's not in there. Okay. So I also don't think this fits in here with these clips, so I'm going to have to rework it a little bit. But here's my other issue, is that is I don't know which Ventress that is. I think it's an early Ventress. I'm not sure. She doesn't have the right cloak or pant cloak. This is the better one. This is the $20 one. I think this is like a $5 one. Anyway, I wasn't sure if I wanted to put her in here or not. But anyway, this one also has a weird stand. I don't know if you can tell. It kind of jams up in here like this and kind of holds it in place. It's super fragile. It is not swooshable. I mean, it could be, but I've got some work to do on it. I really like the cockpit. It's one of the few Microfighters I have that is just a straight cockpit. Yeah, the use of the capes is fantastic. It's just brilliant as a fan like that. And I'm pretty sure Lego has some more sets that do that. So that's what I did this week. I also built this guy, the First Order Heavy Walker, which is both the dumbest and it's just both dumb and dumb. I don't really like it. It's kind of ugly, but this isn't really, a review channel or anything. This is just, it was okay to put together, but if you see these legs, it's real repetitive. Like, I don't like putting anything together that I have to do 8 times. It's just kind of boring. The legs move when it rolls. It alternates which ones kind of go up and down. My son liked it. He said it was pretty cool. The figures that came with it were, and I think I've already kind of gotten rid of them. Put them in a pile over here. We got a Flame Trooper, which I like these guys a lot. I like the helmets on the Flame Troopers. They're pretty good. It also comes with a First Order sort of, regular trooper, or not in commander, but sort of like the, I guess that's a pilot technically. First Order Walker pilot, so I could use him later for some other stuff. It also comes with, and this was the whole reason I got it, where did they go? Oh, it comes with a Resistance Trooper, which I like this helmet. These are great helmets with the glass molded in there. What's up, Goldie and the Bear? Is this Goldie or the Bear? I'm hoping it's Goldie. I like Justin and everything, but I don't think he'd like this stream. This is the whole reason I got this set, because I need Hux. Hux is one that I'm going to do a microfighter for. So it's the first order, and I can't remember the name of it. The Recusant class, the Mandator class. It's the Star Destroyer you see in the Last Jedi. Well, you see it in both. So I needed a Hux. Plus the set for 500 and some pieces, 540 pieces. Lego had them discounted at $25, and I wanted to get 2 of them, but this was before payday, so I decided to just get one. Yeah, if he likes Lego, get on here. We'll talk some more about Lego. So that's it for microfighters that I built this week. This is still my bag of owl stuff. I did not get the rest of my owl stuff this week, and I'm super bummed about that. It's a shipment that's coming in from Germany, and I don't know when I'm going to get it. So yeah, I have big news too. The part order that we put in for the capital project that I've been working on is coming in this week, Tuesday. Very excited about that. That means starting later next week, we'll be able to start building the capital. It means I got about 2.5 months to get it done. And I do have help from the lug. I have help from the rest of the group. As long as I can clear out some space in this room and I can put up the tables that are being built, I think we'll have a good time doing it. There's a lot of repetitive stuff in it, so hopefully it won't be too complicated. And my main fear is that everybody will start building and realize that it's just an awful design and it'll fall apart, and there's no gravity in the software. So, but I'll keep you posted. Keep an eye on the Instagram. I'll post the Instagram. There's a link, should be in the video description. But anyway, so the beers that we're doing this evening, pretty pedestrian, but they're my favorite. I had to kind of slow up on buying some beers. This is a Shiner Prickly Pear. This is a set that comes in, hi Kitty, a new, it says it's Texas Heat Wave, and so I'm guessing that's their spring package. You want to come up here? Come on. Don't paw at me if you don't want to come up here. All right. So this is one of them. The other we'll be getting to later is the sea salt and lime. And then the third one is the Route 66, I think, which is kind of a cherry, or no, it's a cherry limeade, which is, I guess, reminiscent of the Route 66. So cheers. If you're drinking tonight, have a beverage. Let me know what you're drinking. Again, this is just Shiner beer. Shiner's from Texas. The Prickly Pear is actually one of my favorite all-time beers. And the karaoke bar that we go to, they asked me one time, we're ordering some beer, and we want to either get Prickly Pear or Ruby Redbird. Which do you want? I'm like, well, I'd rather have Prickly Pear. Why are you asking me? And they're like, because you're the only one who drinks it. And I was like, oh, well, I probably need to stop coming here if they're asking me which beer they need to order for me. Agua. Oh, you're drinking agua. Well played. Good job. Keep yourself hydrated. Yes, Kitty, I know. All right, so I think let me check my notes, but I think that's all for housekeeping. Oh, one thing I wanted to mention, I don't have it with me. If you are a Lego buyer, you buy from Bricklink, there's a thing that I've now termed panic buying. Oh, cat. Where I actually thought I needed more of one. I'm going to adjust this real quick. I needed more of a bunch of parts. Yeah, the 512 pecan porter is a go-to. They exist in a lot of just restaurants, so you can just get that. It's not terribly rare, but it's a solid drink. I like that they have it. It's very ubiquitous. More so than Shiner. I've seen a lot more places carry that than Shiner. But it's a good one, yeah. So I panic bought more parts than I needed for these sets, specifically this guy. These 2x2 angled plates, or wedge plates, I need for a lot of other designs in the future. And I think I panicked when I saw that I don't have these, and I was like, well, I just ordered some, and I thought I ordered it for the houndstooth, but then I bought more than I needed. So it's nice to have more, but that's, you know, $10 I could have spent on another set of Lego somewhere, or another Bricklink buy. So I'm a little mad at myself for that. So I'm going to try to keep the panic buying down. I did get a hold of, for all you Lego nerds out there, I did get a hold of a, and you know what? Before I start doing this, let's flip over to the design, because I'm just going to start doing this. Oh, and we'll talk about last week's design too. I did get a hold of the Darth Vader bust. It was a red card exclusive at Target, or you had to be at Star Wars Celebration, which I'm not even going to go into how much hype I have for the Star Wars stuff that had come out this week. The trailer, the new Fallen Jedi game, oh, so much good stuff. There's a new Tantive 4 or Tantive 4, depends how you want to say it, a new Corellian Corvette that's coming out, part of their 20 years of Star Wars Lego. So anyway, lots of good stuff has come out. I don't know if I'm missing anything. Anyway, I got that bust. Kind of happy about that. Really didn't want it, but fear of missing out. A little bit of FOMO there. Grabbed it anyway. So last week, this is where we left off. This is, again, for those who weren't here, this is the Raven's Claw. It is Kyle Katarn's second ship from Knights of the Old Republic video game. And I left it kind of not knowing how we were going to attach these to the body, but we figured it out with these really rad pieces, these disc joints. These, if you have done any Lego building, you'll know that these are used in a lot of mech knees. I think they're used in the walkers and stuff like that. Wanted list and brick link to track what I do use that. What's the hops? Yo, what's up? Thanks for joining me, man. This is what we're drinking right now. Just kind of pedestrian. I got these two from the Heat Wave pack. I needed to save money and save my stomach a little bit. I was riding it out with those really heavy brews. Mevits, I have easily 300 want lists right now. It's all the big design stuff that I have, a lot of the capital builds. It's hundreds of Microfighters, and what happens is I'll design a Microfighter, I'll throw it up on a wanted list, and then I'll come home and I'll part it out. I'll show you this. This is the ones that I have now. There's probably 20 or so in here where they're parted out, and this is the Gungan Bongo, right? And then once I've parted it out with the brick that I have, then I'll go back to the wanted list and say, okay, now what do I need? And I'll take it all off and I'll create a second wanted list, which is Bongo need, right? So I keep the original wanted list, and now I have a secondary one that knows what I need to buy. The problem is sometimes I forget to remove those the wanted lists. So that's what happened in this case. I just forgot to remove it, and I looked and I was like, oh, I didn't buy that yet. So I bought it again. No big deal. I want to keep the actual wanted list in case BrickLink ever allows us to share wanted lists, and then I can share them all over the place. Right now I'm downloading them and throwing them up on a Google Drive. And so the Google Drive is shareable to everybody. It's got all the wanted lists. It's got all the IO files for building if you're doing it in studio. It's got, I've got about 50 or so instructions up there. It's got all the images. It's got credits for the ones that aren't mine, but I've reverse engineered for it anyway. So it's got a lot of stuff on there, and I can share that in the comments later as well. So back to the Raven's Claw. This is where we left it. I was really happy with the way this was turning out, so I just kind of finished it up, and this is where it ended up being. Now you'll notice that's not Kyle Katarn, that's Jan Ors. She is she was the actual pilot of the ship. Kyle Katarn was just the Jedi that she ferried around. So I thought, well, let's have a different character in there, shall we? I'm not terribly sold on this front bit. I think the swoopiness of the front nose thing is a little bulky right there, but I think it still looks cool. I still like it. But if I remove that, it might look more like the front end of the Raven's Claw. Kept the engine pylons. I like that. This is kind of a cheat to get this bar in here to hold on to these flags. they're not really flags. What are they called? Yeah, flag squares. But I needed to have these two little stabilizers come off the engine. So as long as you're looking at it from the front, it's all right. But if you look back here, you're like, oh, that's kind of crap. I was a little restricted by what I could put in here for color. And I realized too, if you go back to this was all light gray. But the more I looked at the model, it was a little more dark gray. So these are all the dark blue gray I could get in here. Kept a couple of light grays in here for a little accent. But everything checks out. There's no collisions, so that's where we ended up with that one. And again, the instructions, well, not the instructions for this, but the want list, the IO files, they're all up on the Google Drive. I will post that after the video. So that's where we left off for that. So let's go ahead and get started on this new one. Again, talked for 30 minutes. Gotta trim that down, man. I just keep yammering. Oh, here's another thing I wanted to talk about. When I order stuff from BrickLink, if I get these from a store, this is awesome. I love having these, and I'm gonna start keeping them so I can talk about them. If I just get like the receipt or just a bag with parts in it, that's great, thanks. But having these, guess what I can do with them? I can show them and talk to people about it. This is Brick Takeover. I think it's in Germany. So they were nice enough to include this little thing, and that's great. They were a good shop. Again, this was another one. We talked about this one already because it's got the don't throw these at children under 3. So that's another one. The Brick Time. Visit them for all your brick buying needs. And this is another one I got. Bug and Bear Brickworks out of Illinois. And it says, thanks, Julia, something like that. Anyway, if you're looking for a store to buy on BrickLink, you go to Bug and Bear. Actually, you go to wherever they, whatever they have. So, so the price is there. It's telling you how much it is to buy that part individually. The price there, what price are you talking about? I'm going to go ahead and start doing this while I wait for an answer because I know this is delayed. Do I still have a minifig? I do not. All right, so we're going to go for the minifig again. If you're under 3, you're going to have a bad time with this. Yeah, probably. Torso. I really need to have this saved. This is actually, I work on my girlfriend's Mac. I don't have a computer of my own, but this works out. I just have to remember to save some of these files so I can just kind of pop them in later. So the Assertor is a fan-made bit, but it does have a Wikipedia entry, which means it might have even like eras, like when it was in existence. It may not though. So this will dictate like, okay, Galactic Empire, Galactic Civil War. So the Galactic Civil War is kind of the main, the original trilogy stuff is the Galactic Civil War. So we can just put any old Imperial head, angry. We can put any old Imperial head in here, or not head. What's the term I'm looking for? Commander, because. So I should have the torso be. These guys serve on most of the Star Destroyers that I've done. It had a price on the middle of the bar. Well, let's open that up again. Oh, so yeah. So this would tell you, and this isn't really accurate, but it'll tell you down here, the the thing is, it's an average price. It's an average over the last 6 month price, I believe. So if you were to go to the problem is it's not right. So if you were to go to Bricklink, and this is going to open up in Safari, so sorry about that. But if you go into Bricklink, it'll give you, if you wanted to buy this, you view the price guide for it. Oh, I have to choose a color. And we were working with dark bluish gray, so let's just pick that price guide. And it'll show you, ooh, and we had some light flickering. Again, my power may go out. We don't know. But it'll give you like last 6 month sales, the current items for sale, new and used. I'm not really a stickler for new or used. For bigger parts, for canopies, for parts like, let me see if I can pull some out. For parts like this, where it's clear, or it's translucent, transparent, and a color, I'd like them to be newish, so they don't have a lot of scuffing, because I've got a lot of old parts that, and I don't know if you can really tell, but they're very scuffed because they've just been played with and used a lot. So the quality is a little better. If you're doing a lot of tiles to do streets or floors or something, you want some unscuffed, new, shiny tiles. But here you can see the cost per part. And it said 30, which is not, 30 cents is kind of on the high end. So I wouldn't rely on whatever this is, but when you upload it to the site, then it'll break down, and different people charge different things. So the shop the shop that you may get more parts from may have a higher price per part. So you just kind of have to tweak it a little bit, and if you need a lot of something, find it cheaper, or if you need a certain rare part, find it cheaper with a different store, and then kind of buy the rest of them after that. Yeah, it can give you an average. That's probably in the settings. I haven't changed that because I never really look at the price down there. But what happened to? Oh, there it is. Okay. So that's just more the functionality that I really like having with Studio versus like LDD. And I'm pretty sure LDD had something, but LCAD didn't. Oh. Theirs was more about building it, but you could always export it and put it into Studio and then figure out what the prices were. But it was more about the design at that point. So this is going to be any number of nameless Imperial officers. I mean, we could always name him, but why bother? He's going to die. Yeah, so when we were doing the capital, what's the hops? It was a slog to get through. Listed very far down in there to get through, because there were 60,000 bricks that we had to get through, and just seeing it on Bricklink was daunting. There was no way I could have any idea how much we were going to be spending. Now, most of the stuff that we got was straight from Lego. Like, we weren't buying it third party. You can get stuff through a Lego purchase program if you're doing something big and it's through your user group and it's a recognized user group, and you go through their ambassador program. You can buy large amounts of brick, which is what we did, which is coming in Tuesday. I know you came in late, but Capital Brick is coming in next week. Very excited, a little stressed. So, Star Wars hat, will it do that for me? So we had it broken down where I would export the user list. That's good enough. And then we would, I had a guy who was pretty good at database maintenance, and he created a spreadsheet for everybody to work off of that had the parts that we needed. We could order it through the bulk program, and then the user program, or the project support program. And I'm not really supposed to talk about either of those, but let's just say we were able to order from Lego, and but we broke it down by part and what we needed that we had to order from Lego because it was in the thousands, versus stuff that like we need 5 of, you know, and then we just volunteer to get it from other people in the user group. So I have a lot of these officers. Like I think this is just an Imperial officer, so I'll probably use something like that for it when it's done. There's actually a couple that are like named, like Captain/Admiral Piet from Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. I don't think I've got him sorted in anything yet. But he's like a $20 figure too. It's really weird. I think I'm gonna leave him light gray. No, actually let's do dark gray. Most of these are dark gray, so that'll just be more consistent because the ship itself is going to be light gray. Oh, yikes. Wrong thing. All right, so this is going to be, let's go back to our image. So this is a big triangle wedge shape. This is probably one of the more uninteresting things to do as a microfighter, but somebody in the Eckhart's Ladder Discord mentioned it, and so I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. What's going to be interesting is trying to figure out these. I don't think I'm going to be able to jam this many engines into the back. I might be able to do like half this many, but it'll be fun to do the sort of the top of the arrow kind of thing back here, the cowling over all the engines. That'll be fun. But in the meantime, oh, that needs to be a different color. Let's get this guy's arms up a little bit. So we can sit him down. Nope. Thought I could do that. So I don't know if I've ever shown, working with Lego is kind of fun when you're doing, nope, don't want to duplicate it. When you're doing small stuff like this, it's really quick, it's really easy. You get into the habit of knowing what the software can do. There are some points that I know engineers and toy designers and virtuosos to the medium already know. There's this is a really stupid way of getting around to this point, but when I was doing the capital build and I have to do a dome, and the dome has X amount of windows around the side. So you have to build a functional round area that has, you know, it'll spiral out with spokes, and each of the spokes and panels ends where the window is. So you have to divide how many windows into a quarter of the circle and then do that 4 times. I don't know that it's going to work. It works in the software, but there's certain angles, and I think I talked about this before. There's certain click angles, click hinges. These guys, they click. Where's my microphone? They click. They're click hinges. Each click is like 12.5 degrees or something like that. So you have to know that's, when you're working in the software, you have to know that's how far you have to go with. So you can tell it when we're doing hinges that's, you know, 12.5 degrees versus these guys, these old finger hinges that are just, you know, they're wobbly. You can do them whatever. But making that ring for the dome was just a trial and error. It was so awful. Hey man, thanks for coming by, Mevitz. It was good talking to you. I'm going to try to do this at least once a week. I think I'm also going to try to do some speed building or just the camera down. I haven't figured out how to get my phone as a camera hooked up yet to where I can do some building for the Microfighters. So check it out next time. You know, the updates and the announcements will be in the Discord group. So just check it out there. Thanks for coming by. And stay safe. I know it's stormy out. So the way I've done Star Destroyers before is by doing some snot building, which is, for those who aren't Lego nerds, snot stands for studs not on top. And It just means that if you're building, most Lego stuff builds like this, and it builds up or it builds out, and everything is like that. Studs not on top just means you're building something that, you know, grows out of the side, or it kind of goes in a circle, and it's not just plates on top of plates. So the techniques can be really fascinating if you get the right things adjusted. What are those 1x2 slopes? 1x2x3 slopes. So the previous Star Destroyers are all slope? No? 2x1. 2x1 by 3 slope. So maybe by 2 slope. There we go. So you get a lot of these, and you basically, where's the floor of this one? Oh, that's why. You're basically building a giant arrowhead with these. You know, you just get a couple of these like this. And then you got yourself like a Star Destroyer, right? So you have to worry about how to get a guy to be able to sit in it, and how to make it look more like an arrowhead and not a wedge, like a stone arrowhead, because it tapers on both sides, not just a flat area on one side. Or it's not two-dimensional. It's not a two-dimensional slope. And if I had one, I could just download it and build off that, but I kind of want to be a little unique about it for this build, because I think it deserves a little bit more. Plus, I think I want to make it a little smaller. I think the Assertor it's bigger than most of them by the looks of it. But it's just kind of the style. This is a unique style with this spine going kind of to this forecastle here. It's a Dreadnought. It's a Star Dreadnought, which means it's huge. And before anyone asks, I emailed the designer, and he said that was cool as long as I linked to it. So if you watch this later, Fractalsponge, let me know. Ansel, thank you for the use of your model here. This will be fun. So we can see that it's got a little taper in the back, and then it's got funny angles back there like this. So what we'll probably end up doing is, and I'm just going to throw the shape out there, and then we can worry about making it sort of tapered off later. 3x1 slope, inverted. Because a lot of the, okay, so here's a good example. This is a not my design, but it's one that I found, of Venator class. And you can see it's got that arrowhead shape, but it goes a little farther back because the Venators have this kind of divot in the sides. So instead of making the divot a little closer up here and keeping it a little smaller, they just kind of ramped it up and built it off the Imperial Star Destroyer, which is an actual microfighter, but the Imperial Star Destroyer is like half that size, or 2/3 of that size. So I'm going to try to keep this about this big, maybe a little smaller. I just did instructions for the Acclimator class, and it's got this big kind of engine baffling in the back, kind of bisects the engine block like that, but it's about this big too, and I'm trying to keep away from making super big capital ships, but sometimes it can't be helped. Again, if the pieces dictate it, then that's what you get built, So, so we could always add more of these slopes to give it a little more girth. That may be a little small, So let's do that. Let's give this guy a little more heft, because it is a Dreadnought after all. It's not a Corvette. It's not a dinghy. That's a little better. Is that too much? No, that's pretty good. I like that. So, and then again, we're going to put this guy in here just to kind of hold where I want him to be sitting. I want him to sit, we want to be able to, and you can't really tell from here, although you might be able to. I don't think I can zoom in really well. But right about here, there's the the bridge, the kind of standard Star Destroyer bridge that's kind of like the trapezoidal block with the two shield spheres on either side of it. So we want to kind of have that in the back. So this guy might sit up here a little bit. But we also want to keep enough room to where we can kind of dictate that there's that spine that goes along. A lot of this sort of, I know there's a term for it. It's not forecastling, but it's this kind of, you know, built up stuff. So that's a good start. We'll do that. And let's see. We also want to make sure that we can do this flat in the back. So we can do more of these, but have them inverted. So 2x1. I don't know if they do inverted. No, see, that may be too big. Come on. That's not exactly what I'm going for. May need to come in a little bit more. Yes, what's the hops? He should be much smaller than the ship. By an order of magnitude, he should be smaller than the ship. Sometimes these ships just throw me how huge they are too. And I know it's based off of, like, a lot of these are just naval conversions. So it's, you know, X meters long or whatever. But some of these, I mean, it's just and I know they're built in space, so there's a little more excuse to be able to build something huge. I don't know if that's going to be good. Maybe. Close that back end up a bit. Yeah, let's work with that. That's pretty good. Try to figure out how to point that nose a little bit there. 2x1 slope. Bap, 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 bap. Now the other Star Destroyers, Microfighters, were built kind of funny in that they had, yeah, that'll work. I'm gonna dig real quick. See if I can find one. They have a bit of, they cheat a little bit under the main body in that they just kind of put a flat plate in there and then just deal with it, which I don't really like, but I don't know how to do it any better at the moment. And I'm sorry if I'm not away I'm away from the camera a little bit, but I want to try to find this so I can give you guys an idea of what Lego has done with Star Destroyers, because they did one. Oh, here it is. Brilliant. I had these all out one time and took a picture of them, and I think I have a problem. So this is pretty legit. It's not a bad design, but you can see just got that wedge. This is the basic Victory class, I think. I forget what the class of the Star Destroyer is, but this is just a basic one you see in like Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. I like the way the back end looks with the 3 thrusters right there. I like the way the bridge looks up here. So we're gonna kind of, I think I may just end up doing this on the bridge, just because it's a very simple build. You know, it's like 8 pieces. I'm totally gonna use this. But you can see how big this design is comparatively, right? It's a lot bigger. The bridge is bigger, the whole thing is bigger. And in universe, this is actually a little smaller than this. Venators, I think, were actually slightly smaller than Imperial Star Destroyers, depending on the make. I think there were early Star Destroyers that were smaller, but I think in most cases the Venators at least were the same size, if not smaller. So this might be a little big, but that's pretty good. So we're going to close this off in the back. Oh, and this is what I was going to show you. So because they're kind of a trapezoidal, they're like a really smushed pyramid, right? it's wedge shaped, but it's also kind of, it goes up like this, and then on the bottom it goes like this, right? So that's what they did for it, and that's what the guy sits on in the middle. And in the front, they just kind of indicated that it kind of goes up a little bit. And I don't like the way those aren't flush with the bricks, those plates right there. They could have done better with that. And I think that's because it's sitting on brackets instead of like 1x2 studs that are just kind of flush with that. So they could have done better with that. Also, I don't put flick missiles on anything. Nope. No flick missiles, no stud shooters. Just my preference. So, moving on. Trying to think of anything else we can be talking about. Oh, I designed some, I don't know this is necessarily a secret, but I designed, I can show you, some trophies. Actually, I shouldn't show you because this may be seen by other people. I'll tell you though, I designed some trophies for BrickFiesta. We're going to have trophies given to people who bring in their own mocks. And there's all kinds of categories. And of course, I picked the spaceship category, the Star Wars category, and the sci-fi fantasy category. 3 categories like not within my wheelhouse at all. I don't know what you're talking about. They were really fun to do, so I'm ordering the parts for those. And I'm totally going to steal this design, so I'm just going to pull this part out and look at it. So let's go ahead and put that together in this 1x3 plate. So they were fun. Usually in an event like that, you get the trophy is one trophy that's similar for everything, and everybody gets the same trophy. And then like the writing on it is what separates it from everybody else, like the category of what you did. But we thought it'd be cool in this case. A member of the user group went to a convention in Seattle, San Francisco, Chicago, no idea, where she found this and thought, hey, this is a great idea. We should do this for ours. So they're all going to be different. They're all going to be based off of the category that you're exhibiting in. And hopefully I will win 1 or 2. I might win for best trophy. We literally have a trophy for best trophy. So that'll be fun. Hey man, if you build a Lego set that is Sex and the City related, it will go in, I think there's a pop culture category. Yeah, it will go in pop culture category. There is sculptures too, but I don't think that will be. There's like art and sculptures. But I don't think that'll be what you're looking for. But yeah, build something, Tucker. You can come over and use my stuff. Oh wait, yep, that's what I got. So this is a total hack. Yeah, sci-fi and fantasy. I mean, we already have one, and it wasn't up to me to make the distinctions in the categories. This is sort of a trial run anyway. But it was sort of like, we already had Star Wars, and we already have Harry Potter. So, or Lord of the Rings, I guess, in terms of genres that Lego has already put out. So this was more like, if you've built something that has to do with another science fiction property or another fantasy property, or is just kind of general science fiction-y, like a moon base or something along those lines, or I don't know what fantasy would be, sort of like, because we have like, you can have a medieval thing, but I think that's more just like a modular city kind of, you know, depending on what you're building, but that could be lumped into fantasy as well, anything that's sort of medieval. There's also like mechs and creatures is one category. So giant suits of robot armor and cats. I guess. So, but I think in terms of creatures, they meant like dragons and big winged griffins and stuff like that. So I don't know. Yeah, you know what? There's actually a builder on Instagram named Ochre Jelly, and they do a lot of. See if we can find it real quick. Ochre Jelly. Maybe. Oh, I hate this nonsense. Can I just not look without logging in? Anyway, I may not be able to find it because I'm not logged in. But they do a lot of human beings in Lego form, and it's really groovy. Nope, I don't want to log in yet. So yeah, like here's the meme picture or the selfie picture. So they would be able probably to be able to do, there's Squid Girl. They would be able to do Sex in the City, like they could do all the characters. Michael Jackson. They did one of Queen of Freddie Mercury that was really good. Blurred Lines. So this is another one that I followed that they're just fantastic. Sting from Dune. Anyway, so they would be able to handle something like that probably. Let's see. Okay, so now we're going to close up this space and we're going to have to make it a little... So what I'm going to start doing is... I'm flipping back and forth, sorry. It still raises up in sort of a slope, but there's also the main spine in the middle. I may have to do too wide on the spine. So let's go ahead and close this up with a 1x4 brick stud. So I've got to tell y'all, I have been almost doing nothing but watching like reaction videos about the new trailer and the new game. And I kind of feel bad because my productivity is just crap right now. I was literally watching stuff a minute before this went live. I kind of ran in here after I watched one. I almost have no desire to see Endgame. Endgame comes out in like 2 weeks, and now I'm like, what comes out in 2 weeks? I don't care. I don't care anymore. I think this guy should sit a little higher. So we're gonna... I mean, I do care about Endgame, don't get me wrong. But... So this guy is gonna sit in the middle here like this. And I'm gonna have to move him. So this is another case of just get the part that you want to be there, and then worry about... Oh, you know what? This is all off-centered. Sometimes I don't like using this floor because it's not centered. They don't snap to it. So that's probably good. There we go. Probably going to be right on top of this guy. Oh, you know what? That's a bad head to use. Oh, well. I'll figure it out. Again, I just am going to order some sort of Imperial Commander because that's just a placeholder for this guy. And then pull him up a little bit. He's going to sit pretty high. Don't want to get too high up there. And I think he's going to sit up a little farther. And then... everybody moves. Yeah, that's good. All right. So, this is the Assertor-class Star Dreadnought. Let's see. So what else is everybody up to? Any plans tonight? Anybody? All three of you? Let's do... I don't know if I want that because we still have to do something underneath, and he's got to be able to sit. So bracket. Let's see if this will work. Oh, you know what would be better? That may be a little high. But so this is what they did originally, which I guess I don't really like doing it, but let's see what happens. So they did a big plate. And this is, I don't think this is cheating, but it's not my favorite thing to do. I just think it's kind of a crappy way to do it. But until I figure out a different way. And I guess if it's all the same color, because the problem is this, I don't like the fact that it's like, I mean, it gives some visual aesthetics to the, are you streaming tonight? Hops at all? Can I watch later? That's got to be in there. What's up? Oh, it's a tile. No. 2x2 mod plate. Mod tile. There we go. So, I don't exactly know where that goes. That one and then that one. Let's just do that. Just chilling. All right. Well, I'm glad you're here. I appreciate you. So this is going to go under here because I'm going to put my 2 Technic brick. There. Like so, and then we get rid of this. And then I can sit him down a little lower. So that's not great. It's not my favorite thing to do, but although we can put big wedges underneath that. Oh, and the other thing is we got to make sure to, we're going to have to put a thing on that. Six. Brilliant. That works. I'll be pedestrian today, I guess. Although I could do a 2x10 plate, and then I could, and I'll show you why. And then a wedge plate. Cool. I'll give it a watch later. So my whole house right now smells of slow cooker chicken. I'm making dinner, and it's driving me crazy. It smells so good in here, but I can't do anything until I'm done here. I guess that's all right. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty sharp. So if you've never built Lego or played video games, which I'm guessing anybody who's watching this probably has, you get Lego back or Nintendo back where you're hunched over and you're tense for so long that the older I get, the more I get that. So let's see. I'm going to put, now where's our favorite thing? There's our favorite chair. Ta-da. All right, that's perfect. So now we've got an interesting prospect of trying to attach this section, which I'm going to group, so I don't have to worry about moving it every time individually. We have to attach it to the rest of this. And if we're looking at the engine block on this, it goes a little lower. So what we did under here was awesome and all, but it looks like this is the midline right here, which means if we're looking at it kind of the same way, I might just be able to, well, except it's all underneath it. And there's a single engine right there. That's annoying. Is there another? Yeah, God, how many engines are crammed in there? Look at that. Look at that nonsense. There's 3, 6, 11, 15, 20, 24, 22, 26 engines. So I'm not going to be able to get 26 engines in here. What I am doing is I'm going to go to number 2. I may go a little longer tonight. Not an hour and a half, but let's see how long we go. I may get to the point where I'm just hungry. So I do like that this is sitting like that, because now I can do a wedge plate. Oh, I wish it had a single. This is almost exactly like the original Star Destroyer over here. Nope. Need the other side. Yeah. Beer 2, the sea salt and lime. The sea salt and lime I really like because I'm a big kind of trashy Mexican beer fan. Like Modelo. I love Modelo Especial. But I like taking it, and don't hate me for this, but I like taking it and getting some beer salt on the rim of the glass and about that much lime juice in the bottom and some ice, and then pour the thing over it. Oh, it's so good. But that's the flavor of the sea salt and lime. It's supposed to be reminiscent of that. I enjoy it. This has been out for a little bit, so it's not as cold as I'd like, but it's still tasty. Yeah. once I start getting hangry, or my girlfriend will come out and say, you know what, it's time to eat. Yeah, it's actually pretty good. It's not, I mean, it kind of tastes like, it tastes like if you shove a lime in a Corona and then some salt in it too. So, I mean, it's a good taste. It doesn't have that kind of skunky flavor that you get with a lot of like Corona or Modelo or anything like that. It's really solid. I was really surprised. I was worried it was going to be kind of a thin flavor, but like I can almost taste the pulp of the limes in it. It's pretty good. And if I got a whole 6-pack of this for like $7 or $8, I think I'd be all right with it. It's a good kind of summer chilling by the pool beer. So this is going to be kind of an issue. Oh, you know what? No, it's not. I know exactly how to do this. 1x2 Technic. We're going to cheat. Yeah, if you're not a fan of like kind of gross Mexican beers, it's not going to be your deal. I'm not going to lie to you. That's actually not as good as I thought it was going to be. But by the same token, it's not as heavy as, and I'd say heavy, it's not as rich, which is not saying much, but as like a Especial, or not Especial, Negro Modelo. Oh, see, that's pretty limiting right there. How is this going to work? This is always the fun part, figuring it out. It's like, I got this great shape that's working out really well here, but it's not going to fit with the rest of the... Like, the studs don't even line up there. You see that? It's just off. Just enough off. And it's just enough in the way to where I can't do anything on top of it. So what I may have to do is like... oh, that's awful. But let's try this. Will that fit in there? Ah! What happened to it? Oh, it will. Hey, Charlie. So now the trick is that going to be... This is going to be a problem. Flibberty gibbet. I feel like I'm just cobbling stuff together now. Yeah, and I don't like that hanging off the tail end of that there either. Alright, well, let's work on the wings maybe a little bit. I can put in some... Oh, I can do these guys here. Because I'm not doing anything... I'm not going to do any more underneath it. That's as good as it's going to get under there. Here's the problem, though. This needs to go away. This needs to be bigger back here, I think. You know what? This could even go farther up. Nope, it won't work like that. It has to be a giant gaping hole in the middle there. Let's see. Did I forget to talk about anything else? Oh, Barks for Beers. For those who are watching that don't know, and I know Tucker and Melissa know already, but starting, what's today? The 13th. So starting in about 2 weeks, there is a thing in Austin called Barks for Beers, which is a yearly event where there's a company called Divine Canines, and they put on an event where you buy a pint glass and for like $30. I think it's $30 this year, and then you get a free pour at 20 to 25 breweries around town, and the money goes towards the Divine Canines group, which does they train dogs to be physical therapy dogs. So the money goes towards training and housing and medical kind of stuff and outreach programs and stuff. It's a really good cause. Yeah, it's 2 weeks, and it's all of May. So like every weekend in May, we'll pick an area, and we'll take our glass and our pause port, which is a map, and you get a stamp. So everywhere you go, you get a stamp, and that's your free pour. So inside of like 4 breweries, your glass is paid for, and that's one weekend. So, and we try to do every weekend, and maybe a couple times during the week. It's a lot of fun. You get to meet some people. Occasionally they'll have the ambassador dogs are there if they've got some. They'll have events where they're doing shirts or giveaways or things like that. It's just a great time. And this will be I want to say it's more than 3 years, but maybe just 3 years. Third or fourth year doing it. So we've got a lot of pint glasses with Barks for Beers. It's totally cool. I'm excited to be part of it again. But it's also one of these things where we have to stop eating and drinking for like all of April so we can get ready for it, because it just feels like all we're doing is drinking beer for like a month. And it's not that bad, but it does get a little old after a while. That's really close. All right. Ooh. That's cool. I like how that looks. There's that gap. Monkey. I could probably, you know what, 1x2 tile. What is that? Oh. This is going to be a cheat. Will this fill it in? Haha. Oh. Who needs to work for Lego as a master designer? This guy. Hey, Lego, you listening? That's going to be wedge plates. Oh, why not? Why 4? So this is kind of the part of the evening where I stop talking because I'm kind of focused in on this. This may be a good time to call it. Oh no, we still got a little bit. We still got a little bit of time. I'm trying to figure out why this isn't. I'm leaning really into the camera. Sorry about that. So sometimes you get wedges like this on top of the studs, and it should work. I don't see why it's not working here. Is it butting up against that? Oh, it is. Okay. Well, that's just lame. So let's do 3. Oh, I don't know if this will work either. That's going to butt up against it, but I can do that. Oh, that looks gross. Paint myself into a corner with some of these. but it's got a nice wedge shape. And let's not forget our ubiquitous. I won't put stud shooters on it, but man, I'm putting these. Oh, I can release this now. I'm going to put these cheese wedge canopy things all over the place, even though the original does not have one. Excuse me. All right. That is not too shabby. All right, so the next thing we're going to be working on, I'm probably going to work on this by myself later, but I got to close up all these gaps. The top looks all right, but there's a lot of gaps in here that I'm really not happy with, just because of the nature of getting the. So the trick with snot building, stud not on top building, is that once you turn a brick on its side, it doesn't line up with the studs on the way the studs are spread out. So you have to kind of make allowances for that with putting like tiles down or lining them up with those with these modified bricks that are not exactly 2 bricks high. So I mean, there's a lot of things that you could be doing that are kind of cheats. You know what I could probably do? Let's go back to 4 real quick. So there's a lot of things in here that I'd like to trim up. Oh, you know what I could do? Ah, no, not that. So you can paint yourself into a corner doing this kind of studs not on top building. And you have to kind of, so I feel like like right now I can't close these 2 gaps. Whoops. What the heck just happened? I just want that to go there. So, so I'm going to end up probably trying to space it a little weird. Like I may end up putting plates in here somewhere so I could space it a little more so these gaps can be filled. Wedge plates. But you'll start to see, yeah, oh man. And that should go on top of there too. I don't know why that's being a pill. Let's do that one. This whole thing not grabbing it when I'm clicking on it is really annoying. I wonder if that's a Mac issue, because I'm using a mouse. I'm not using the touch board. That's not great right there, but I may raise this up a bit. Just slightly. Not all of it, thank you. Not all of it, thank you. Let's see, what is that? That's just a plate. Oh, you know what I could do? I could close that loop. That gap. Close that loop. Come on. That's really frustrating. I don't like the idea that I'm moving faster than this stupid software, but oh, that won't fit. That's ugly. So this may get a whole reworking. Oh, and I need to put the wedge plates back under there so he can sit on them. I still need to do the thrusters in the back. The 26 thrusters. Ridiculous. So, in the last couple minutes, what do you guys think about the Star Wars trailer? Or the new Fallen Jedi trailer? If you are a Battlefront player, you will know that if on the splash screen for Battlefront, if you're playing Battlefront 2, they now have a thing where you can click on and go pre-order the game for $62.99, and apparently it's 10% off, and you get some theme. I'm guessing it's a PlayStation theme, which I've never understood why people would want that. It's like I'm not looking at my PlayStation theme. I'm here for the games. But if it's 10% off the game, you know, off of $69, that's probably all right. So we can do 1x1 clips. Nope. Clip. Problem is these kind of butt up. Grab it. Yeah, I can't put those in there. 2x2 mod plate. I might be able to use these as engine blocks, or holders at least for engine blocks, except they don't fit in there now because I've got that stupid. This may need to be a whole section lower so I can get some stuff in there. That's a little disappointing. But I could get more wedge plates in there to kind of give it a little more wedgy flavor to it. We're only at 59 parts. I mean, this... Ooh, lights are flickering again. We're at like 2/3 of what a normal microfighter is. This little guy is probably 80 parts, 85 parts. And this thing is going to be as big as that Venator. So, I mean, we're doing pretty good. So if I need to take this and spread this out a little bit. But I mean, I really like the shape. The shape's great. If I can keep that, I think we're on target. I mean, that looks. Where's that one shot? That's a pretty good approximation, right? Maybe get some more junk up here, some more greebling. You know, one by one round, just something kind of derp, you know. Something like that to kind of give the indication that it's got that spine growing in the back, and then maybe trail it off in the back a little bit too, because it'll go back from that forecastle bridge thing. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to go 2 hours. I'm actually a bit hungry, and I can smell the slow cooker in the background, and it smells delicious. I think this is a good stopping point. I'm going to go ahead and save it. So I will... No, not save as. I'll post in the comments once I'm finished here, or I'll post in the description. I think I've got most of the stuff that I was talking about already posted in the link or in the description, but I'll add again, and you can find this on most of the videos that I've done, is the link to the Google Drive that has all of these saved into it. It's got all the raw design files. It'll have, once I upload them to BrickLink and then pull down the wanted list, it'll have the wanted list for it. So if you want, you can grab that XML file, upload it to BrickLink, and you have the parts list for it. I won't have the instructions for this for probably quite some time, but if you ask nicely, I could do a specific model. If you don't see it in the instructions list, I can do it. All the instructions that I've done are up on Rebrickable. The link for that should be down there too. And if you run into any problems, I've done a couple of the builds. This one needs to be reworked. The instructions need to be reworked for, or actually I haven't done the instructions for that. The instructions for the Lucre Hulk battleship need to be reworked. The instructions for this guy need to be reworked, but it's cosmetic. It's just these little, it's a different wedge plate and it's a different tile. It's not a big deal. You can probably figure it out based off the image. There are some things that I don't realize are not great until I build it. And so if you run into stuff like that, here's a good example. That kind of 1x1 brick with the one stud, and then I've got a tile that goes in there, but it's just a 1x2 tile. So it looks all right, but if you grab it, they tend to spin. Stuff like that. It's not really great, but I could have done it better. Like if I had done 2 jumper plates and then just a 1x, but I was trying to keep the part count down. So that kind of stuff you can redo on your own if you run into that. Hopefully by this time next week, I will have some news or information about the Capital build. Maybe I'll have my owl done. And I'm hoping that I have my camera situation figured out so I can do maybe a shorter video, just a regular video, not a live stream, but a video of a speed build. But I may like the idea of doing just a build instead of a design as a live stream. So we'll play with it. It's still early on in the channel and we'll see how it goes. But again, thanks everybody for stopping by. And if you're watching this after the stream, I appreciate you stopping by and saying hi and hanging out. And if you have any questions, leave a comment below or come find me on various social networks, Discord, Twitter, Instagram, and let me know what you think of the builds. And it's good hanging out with you. I'll talk to you later.